sometimes it is really hard to see God in each other. The choices we make, the things that are said, the vulnerabilities we hold, the friendships we long for and don't pursue. We sometimes put blinders on our greater sensibilities. These blinders blanket authenticity and opportunity. And then God wiggles God's way in. And albeit for a brief moment, we sometimes can see what we are meant to see and to know. I think this is such a moment for Mary and Elizabeth. A deeply authentic moment that these two women share. A moment that defines them. A moment where God has definitely wiggled God's self right into the middle of it. When is the last time we have had this kind of powerful connection? When is the last time you have been that truly authentic self with someone? In this powerful encounter, Mary is greeted by Elizabeth at her door, her threshold. This certainly was a threshold moment for both of these women. Not only was God in the midst of it, God was about this change, this milestone that was about to happen. Dr. Christine Hong writes, quote, Elizabeth greets Mary on the threshold not only of her door, but the threshold of something new in Mary's life and for the world. Mary is met by her cousin who greets her with welcome, anticipation, and a powerful blessing. So rich was the blessing that the baby in Elizabeth's womb leapt up and greeted Mary and the baby in Mary's womb. Any fear Mary had was met with the contagious courage of Elizabeth, courage enough for them both. They were one another's spiritual midwives, birthing together transformation, grounded in one another's courage and steadfastness. They wandered together in liminal space on the threshold of a new world. And through their spiritual and relational partnership, Mary and Elizabeth framed the path of partnership for their children too. End quote. Who was with us in our threshold moments? Who supported us in our greatest times of transition? I think we're standing at a threshold moment as a church universal, and more specifically as Hazel Park United Church of Christ. We have been greeted by COVID-19, financial impropriety, and declining membership. This feels like anything but being greeted by the divine, let alone seeing the divine in all of this. And yet, crossing the threshold can hold possibility if we keep our blinders up and keep our eye on authentic opportunity that speaks to our values and our mission. In the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, when church was shifting, many nonprofit leaders were saying, don't worry about mission and vision statements, just get through this time. In fact, many were saying, cash is king. Bank what you can get and ride it out. That worked for year one. And that worked through part of year two. And many of us standing at the threshold began thinking and saying, we cannot rely on this model anymore. We cannot continue to keep responding to what is being handed to us. Instead, we need to get in front of whatever this change is and simply put, acknowledge that church will never be what it once was pre-COVID. It was already different before COVID, and now it truly is. No joke. This was God's greeting to us, people of faith. The Spirit moves in different ways. People respond to faith in different ways. People want to make meaning in different ways. And it will require us to find a balance of providing a safe place for people to gather and to physically go out into the community to meet each other. These shifts have happened across the generations, from generation to generation. Each generation has had their moment, and here is ours. When we embarked upon our visioning process, it was in response to what we were greeted with. COVID-19, financial impropriety, and declining membership is a part of our generation, and it does not have to define us. It is a part of our story, and we are a whole lot more. Later this morning, we will share in our annual meeting what we'll be faced with in the coming year, our challenges as well as great opportunity that aligns with our newly defined mission priorities. What this visioning process has done was affirm once again what we hold near and dear as a faith community. With focus comes growth in all its forms. With focus comes renewed energy and purpose. As we cross this threshold together, being midwives to one another, we will be birthing together transformation. We will be grounded in one another's courage and steadfastness. And we will wander together in liminal space on the threshold of a new world filled with divine possibility. And through spiritual and relational partnership that will evolve in whatever we end up doing, it will frame a partnership for the generations to come, giving them the opportunity to be greeted by the holy that says, "I'm so glad you are here." May it be so.